Center for Inquiry-Based Learning. My name is Todd, and I'm here with another student activity pack video. Today we're going to be looking at our speed and motion, which is for our third grade elementary classrooms. It's going to explore forces, motion, direction, and really give opportunity for students to play around and explore some of these concepts. Here are the materials that are in the bag. We'll go through all these materials that the students will be using. In addition to those materials, students will need to have access to a pair of scissors and some type of marker, pencil, something like that. So for part one, exploring forces, we have the students get a pom-pom and we have them get a craft stick. And the first challenge is to think of all the different ways they can move the ping pong ball. Pushing it, flipping it, lifting it up, pulling it, whatever they're doing. Have students do that. And then we ask them to record in their notebook all the things that they did to move the pom-pom. Then we switch the tool and we have them do the same thing with an index card. All the different ways they can move it, everything they can think about. Then we have them do a rubber band, which gets kind of fun because students do all kinds of cool stuff with that. And then we finish it off with having them use a straw. And at the end, we have them think about all the different things that they did to the pom-pom. We introduce the terms like push and pull to explain a force, and then we have them go back and look at what they did to the pom-pom, and then they have to determine where they used pushes and where they used pulls. So we introduce the concepts in the term of pushes and pulls as a force that can be created. All right, that's part one. And then we get into part two, and we start looking at motion and direction. And what we do for part two is we replace the pom-pom with a ping pong ball. And what we do first is just have them drop it and watch what happens to it. And these ping pong balls, you'll notice, are not tournament quality. And they actually, it's nice that they move around a little bit, but they typically stay right in the same area. So the students do that several times, and then we ask them to write down everything that happened to the ping pong ball from the moment that they dropped it. And they'll have to say it, whatever they write, it fell, it rolled left, rolled right, forward, backwards, and then finally came to a stop. We go back then and we introduce terms, direction terms, up, down, left, right, forward, backwards, and we have students look at that ball and try to determine all of the different directions that the ball went. We also introduce the term motion to describe everything that happened to the ball, or that ball was in motion the entire time when it left my hand all the way till it came to a rest. That was its motion. So those are the terms that we bring into part two. Start to introduce the direction words as well. Part three, we have a force and direction challenge, and this is all still part of the first activity, exploring forces. And for this one, what we have them do is they have to do a challenge. They have to get their labels and write the word start on one label and finish on another label. And what we have them do is take their tape measure and they have to go 500 millimeters, 50 centimeters, half a meter, however you want to do it, away from the start line, the start part. And their challenge is to get the ball to go to the finish area, and they have to have at least one push and at least one pull, and they have to have several different directions. And they can use any of the tools that they want. So for example, they might push it, and they might use something to stop it, and then get it on the finish area. The ping pong ball is obviously a challenge. We suggest using the ping pong ball, or you can use the pom-pom. You might want to use the pom-pom the first time, and then make it a little more challenging by introducing the ping pong ball as the other challenge. And once they've created their path to the finish area, they've written down what they did to get there. Sometimes we have them swap with other students and have them try to recreate what the other student did as well. So this activity, first one of the package, really explores the idea of forces, motion, and direction. All right, so the second activity in our Speed in Motion student activity pack is called Races. And for this one, we're going to start to explore different balls and think about how fast they might go, make some predictions, and do some races. So we're going to start with setting up our ramp runway. And this is something that there's some good directions in the teacher's guides that have to follow along. But the first thing that students do is they take their meter tape, spread it out, and on one end, they put a label for the start, and all the way down at the other end of the meter tape, they put a line for the finish. Then they can remove the tape measure because they have the start and the finish line established. It's 1 meter long. Chipboard paper and our food tray. Food tray goes upside down. Chipboard paper becomes our ramp and will sit right there, so the end of the ramp is equal to the start line. All right. First thing we do have them do after they set up their ramp is to take the ping pong ball. Oh, actually, sorry, take that over again. They take all 3 balls, and we don't have them use a ramp right now, but all they do is roll all 3 balls. We got a wooden ball, we got a marble, and we got a ping pong ball. And all they do is roll them around a little bit, and then we ask them to predict which one they think is going to be the fastest, which one they think will be the slowest, and which one they think will be right in the middle. Okay? After they do that, we set the ramp up. And 1 ball at a time, starting with the ping pong ball, as you'll see why in a second. Have them just do it a few times just so they get practice with putting the ball on the ramp and letting it go down. Sometimes the ping pong ball has a hard time making it all the way to the finish line. But it gets pretty close. And after we do that, we go ahead and put that away, and then we have them look at the other ones one at a time. And they just put the marble up there, or the wooden ball this time. Okay, and put the marble. So they're exploring with all of them, and then we ask if they want to go ahead and change their predictions at all based on what they've seen. Sometimes students do, sometimes they don't. But then we get a chance to do some races, and we get to find out which ball is faster and which ball is slower than the other ones. That's some of the words that we're trying to use in this activity are relative speed words, like something is faster or something is slower than something. And to do a race, we use our craft stick as our starter. And for the first race, we'll do the ping pong ball and the marble. And we get them set up right there together. And all I gotta do is lift the craft stick and the race will begin. So we would obviously call that one a win for the marble. We would do that 3 times, keep track of our results. Then we would do the ping pong ball and the wooden ball, and then we would do the wooden ball and the marble. So we'll set that one up, and we let that one go as well. We'll let you see how that was going to finish up, but we'll let you do that one in your classroom. So after the students do that, they get the results, then they go back and they look at their predictions, see which ball was fastest, which ball was slowest, introduce the terms and the idea that every ball is going the same distance. The ones that got to the finish line first obviously went faster, went quicker, took less time than the balls that were slower. Then we can bring in the idea of speed and hopefully try and help get some time into this, which is part 3, where we ask you to get some type of stopwatch, some type of timing device, and have them go ahead and time each ball. And then they can start to figure out how much time something takes to go 1 meter. Now you can really analyze the different speeds. But it's really about getting students to explore the different balls, make some predictions, test it out, and go back, analyze it, and see how their results compare to their prediction, but most importantly, bring in terms like faster, slower, speed, all as part of activity 2. The third activity in our Speed in Motion activity pack is the Sybil Flyer. And for this one, the students need to follow some directions to make a prototype Sybil Flyer, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do with it. First thing they need to do is go to the last page of the packet and they're going to see a piece of paper that has multiple Sybil Flyer templates. They need to cut one of them out. After they do that, they need to cut and remove the part where it says cut and remove. It's the shaded area. I guess I should have had this done ahead of time. It will look like this. You might want to follow along and do this with your students to make it so that they fold the right things. But first thing we're going to do is fold it right down the middle, right on top of itself in that middle line, like so. And then we go ahead and pull back each of these things we're calling wings till we get to that dotted line, and we fold on that dotted line. And then the same thing on this side where we're going to fold back and fold on that dotted line. So what you'll have is something that looks like this. Those are your wings. Now we need to get them to a straw. And for the straw, simply take our scissors, put them in one side, and cut down. It says to do it about 25 millimeters. It could be 25, 30, about the size of maybe your thumb or your finger, whatever it might be. And then once you make that cut on top, we want to make the exact same cut on bottom. So if I made that cup right there, take the scissors out and just put them right back in and just go underneath. So now we know that they are one on top, one on bottom. So we have something that looks like that. Okay. At this point, we go ahead and take our Sybil Flyer wings, put them right in the middle of the slit. And here's a little teacher tip for you. The wings work best if they're a little bit fluffed up or pushed up, not so much down. And then if you want to have the tips of the straw go up a little bit, you can. It's up to you. But have the students put their Sybil Flyer together like so. And then we reach up high as we can and we let it fall. And we get that kind of cool thing to happen. So this is the Sybil Flyer. What we do then is talk about when we drop the straw, what happened to it. Well, it's spun. Kids will see that. But where is it going? It's going to the earth. And we introduce the idea gravity is this force that pulls everything to the earth. And then we challenge students to try to see if they can make their Sybil Flyer stay in the air the longest. So we want them to release it as high as they can, let go of it, and they can change the wings however they want. They can fold them however they want. They can cut new templates out and try things. But essentially what they're going to do is play around with the Sybil Flyer, and the whole time they're going to be looking at the effects of gravity pulling this down to the earth. So that's part 3. The last part, they set the ramp back up with the ball, and they go back and explain how gravity is having an influence on moving the ball. So bringing gravity into this unit, the last activity, and having them apply that to what they've already done. Hey, and don't forget to check out our teacher resources page. There you'll find lots of resources for you to use, including slide decks, literacy connections, student activity sheets, lots of things to help make these activities come alive in your classroom. Thanks.